Hey guys, what's up? It's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. It's been forever and I'm trying to make a YouTube comeback. Since my last video, I'm doing a lot better. I'm not dealing with the PTSD and the anniversary trauma anymore. I feel more stable now. I celebrated a year sober, so hey, cheers, go me. That's pretty cool. Overall, things have been going really well for me. About a week ago, I was experiencing some depression, but I feel better now. Kind of snapped myself out of that. Thank God. I get really scared when I get depressed. I haven't been actually depressed for like 6 months, so it really scared the shit out of me. And it also discouraged me because I have been doing so good and feeling so great. So I fool myself into thinking that because I take my medicine and I don't drink that I don't have bipolar disorder anymore, but that's not true. It just makes it so that it's more manageable for me. So I want to jump back into my story. I can't exactly remember where I left off, but let's just start talking about some old shit. I got a new phone, and this new phone, when the iCloud downloaded all these pictures from my Manic episode in 2018, popped up, and it was like so painful to see, but also kind of funny. It didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. It was almost kind of like, fuck. So yeah, back to May of 2018. So I'm in California. I went to the dual diagnosis treatment center and I was very manic, very sick, got into a fight with a dude that worked there, jumped the fucking fence, ran to the Papa John's, called LAPD. So now LAPD shows up and I'm like, these people won't give me my shit back. Like, please go with me and make them give me my shit. So 3 police officers escorted me back to the treatment center and knocked on the door and told these fools to give me my shit. So they did. So the cops come out with my stuff and they say, okay, you need to get the fuck out of here. Like, if we catch you back here, like, you're gonna get arrested for trespassing. And if mama gets arrested one more time, mama has a felony on her record. So I wasn't trying to get arrested. So basically, I go back to the gas station, and like I think I've mentioned before, when I'm manic, people just love me for the most part. I mean, not everybody, but people that work at gas stations and Papa John's love me. So yeah, the guy at the gas station gave me like free Red Bull, free pack of cigs. And I was just kind of hanging out there, calling family, calling friends, and unfortunately, they all were giving me tough love and just kind of like, tough shit, you know, figure it out. And I had $60 cash and some clothes, and I'm about an hour away from LAX, manic, very sick, and ready to party. So I remember I walked to a vape store to get some vape juice, and I was vaping away. And I also stopped to get a beer at like a sushi restaurant, and I was like looking at pictures. I had brought pictures with me to the treatment center of like, you know, me when I was a little girl. I mean, when I'm manic, I go to crazy dimensions in my brain, and I was just on a kick of looking at old like yearbooks and stuff like that. So I had brought some of this shit with me to the treatment center. So I have all these pictures. I remember sitting at this sushi restaurant and drinking like a Bud Light and looking at all these pictures and just in my own world. So somehow I went back to the vape store and I met this Asian kid named Moses, and I think he was like around 30. He was an accountant. And I'm telling him like what's going on. I'm like, I was at this treatment center, no one's gonna help me. I got 60 fucking bucks. What am I gonna do? He's like, do you want me to take you to TGI Fridays and get drunk? I was like, sold, let's go. So we go to TGI Fridays, we're at the bar getting fucking lit. I was having the time of my life. I like got on my phone, I blocked all my family's phone numbers, and I was just like, I'm gonna live in the moment here. Then he sees some of his like black girlfriends from high school. They come over, I'm kicking it with them. When my iCloud updated, I have selfies with them like on my phone that I don't even remember taking. So then Moses and I go back to his apartment, which is so dangerous. I should never have done that, but I was very sick. Again, thank you God that I was safe. I didn't get raped. Nothing bad happened to me. But again, I'm just telling my story. So Moses and I go back to his apartment and we smoke hella weed, and then he pays for an Uber for me to go to LAX because I was like, I need to get to the airport. So I was about 45 minutes, an hour away from the airport. So an Uber picks me up at like 5 in the morning. I'm still fucked up. Get dumped off at LAX. I'm walking through the terminals with my shit, and I walk past this group of guys and they're drinking Budweiser like outside LAX. And I was like, I went up to them and I was like, you can't drink beer at LAX. And they're like, we're from Germany, duh. And they handed me a freaking Budweiser and I was like, thanks, dude. And I put some Budweisers in my purse, and so I'm walking around, you know, and I'm not through security, obviously. I'm just like to where people get dropped off, just walking. And then I look up and there's this black guy that has like a blanket, like a cape on his back, and he's like running and weaving in and out of the traffic of LAX, of like people dropping off other people to get on their flights. And I'm like, oh my God. And instantly, it's like I had this gut instinct that he was, you know, mentally ill. So I go up to him and I'm like, come over here. And like, we went and sat down. I smoked a cig, gave him a cig. I like went through my bag. I gave him some of my clothes. He had no shoes on, so I gave him flip-flops. It was just absolutely crazy. But then he was like all dirty, barely spoke English. It was like so sad, but I was like trying to help him when I'm sick myself, sick as fuck. And so we're walking around LAX and people are just staring at us because it's just, we both obviously did not look healthy. So I eventually, I got scared, and so I went up to airport security and just said, like, I don't know what to do, you know. And so you know, I had to watch him get detained and taken to the psych ward, and I was like crying because it was just like, people have done that to me where they trick me and act like they're gonna help me, and then somehow I get sent to the psych ward. And I get really triggered when I go to the psych ward, or people that love me try to send me there, because I was sexually harassed at the first one I stayed at. I think I've mentioned that in previous videos. I know I have. So whenever I am on my way to the psych ward, I instantly get so fucking angry at like my mom, my husband, my friends, whoever that thought it was a good idea to send me there, because the psych ward is so scary. So I felt terrible. And then the freaking cop that detained him looks at me and goes, do you want to go too? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not going to the psych ward. And I dipped, you know, I took off, and I was like, I just remember being a bugaboo, being super annoying. I couldn't find a charger. My phone was dying. Meanwhile, all these people are blowing me up, trying to get me to get on a flight to go to some other fucking treatment center across the country and fly from LAX to wherever. And I was adamant. I was like, I'm not going to another treatment center. I'm coming home to Seattle. Book me a flight to Seattle or I'm fucking staying here. And so they wouldn't do it. So I was just like, okay, fine, fuck it. So I was going around asking people for chargers, and finally this dude was like, I'll buy you a fucking charger, because he heard me being annoying asking people for chargers. So he bought me a charger. I sit down next to this black guy who's sitting next to the outlet too. Like, we're both charging our phones. So we're just sitting there. He's talking on the phone. I'm sitting there like looking at whatever. And we start talking, and he's like, do you want to go to Hollywood with me in an Uber? And I was like, and at this point I had walked 8 miles at the airport. I tracked it on my phone. I wasn't clearly going back to Seattle. No one was there to help me, to send me to a treatment center. Like, I wasn't even capable of probably getting on a flight by myself. That's how sick I was. And again, thank God I was safe. Like, this is not smart that I fucking did this, but I got in an Uber with this guy and we head to Hollywood, which is like an hour drive. So about 45 minutes in, this dude that I got in the Uber with is starting to get all weird, you know, kind of like backtracking that he made a mistake to bring me with him, because he was from like the East Coast and he flew to LA to meet friends and they were going to drive to Vegas. That's like his story. So when he offered for me to go to Hollywood, he then realized that he's like going on like a guy trip. So he's like, why the fuck did I invite this like random girl that's like fucking bipolar to come with me in the Uber? So we get to Roscoe's Chicken in Hollywood where he was meeting his friends, and it was just, at this point, when I'm manic, I'm not stupid. I could tell this dude didn't want me around. Like, he did, but he didn't. And so he gave me $40 and he's just like, are you gonna be good? I was like, yep, I'll be fine. So I took the $40, took off, went to a bar, got a drink. Then I met a homeless guy on the side of the street. And this guy was talking to this woman, and I was just kind of like hiding out, like watching them talk. And the homeless guy had a shopping cart and a guitar and clearly vodka, like he was day drinking. And this woman looked like almost like a social worker, like very put together, and she's talking to him. And so basically she walks away, and I go up to her and I'm like, is he okay? Because he just like, you know, didn't seem right in the head. Come to find out later, he told me he has bipolar and has been on the streets for, you know, years. So basically, I guess the homeless guy, I don't remember his name, the homeless guy's family has money. And so they pay this woman to go find him on the streets to make sure he's okay. And yeah, so basically I sit down next to the homeless guy and we're just kicking it. You know, he's playing his guitar. At this point, I'm calling all my best friends back at home, FaceTiming them, and they're like, oh my God, Megan, like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, no, it's all good. Like, I'm fine. You know, I'm having the time of my life, you know? So we're sitting there kicking it. The homeless guy tells me he has bipolar, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm in Hollywood. Like, I'm trying to live it up tonight. Like, I want to go out. I want to, you know, get into some shit. And he was like, okay, well, I'm staying at this place. Do you want, because I hadn't showered. I was like disgusting. He's like, do you want to like come take a shower? Again, I cannot believe I did this terrible decision. But I was like, yeah, like sounds good. Like I felt connected to him because he had bipolar disorder. Like I felt like there's no way he's going to hurt me. He's not going to do anything to me. He has a fucking shopping cart, for God's sakes. And he's like, you know, 100 pounds. Like, I could fucking beat his ass. So I wasn't afraid. So here we are, me and this guy with the shopping cart just strolling along in Hollywood. You know, I had broken like 2 of my acrylic nails and I had the $40 the dude gave me minus what I paid for the alcohol. So I'm like, yo, I need to stop at this nail salon really quick. So we stop at this nail salon. I get my nails, the 2 nails that broke, fixed, get sparkle polish on those. So then we keep walking and keep walking. We get to this house that's like beautiful. It's like just this beautiful white house with these purple lilac bushes. And I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, you live here? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense because he said that his parents have money, or the social worker said that his parents have money, so maybe this is their house and he's staying here. Like, I don't know. I was sketched out, but I was like, okay, like, I'm willing to like see what's up. Come to find out, it's a motherfucking trap house. And literally, I walk in the front door and the floor collapses. Like literally, like I fall through the floor. Like my head and my arms are dangling at the floor and I'm like, the rest of my body's like underneath in the basement. Like no fucking shit. And I was just like, I thought I broke my leg. I could tell my leg was bleeding. I was like, oh my God. So the homeless guy helps me out of like getting out of the basement back onto the floor, and I was crying and I was just like, you know, my leg was fucked up. So then, I don't know how it happened, but somehow we went from there to there's like this shed in the back. So we go in the shed and all of a sudden I hear sirens, like cops. And the guy's like, cops, like, we gotta hide. Because clearly this isn't his house. Clearly this is trespassing. Clearly people do crack in this house. So I was just like, oh my God. So we like are, and I'm afraid to get arrested. Like I don't want to get into trouble. I've gone to jail, done all that shit. Don't want to go to the psych ward. I'm just like, fuck. So we're like in this like shed, and there's like these people in there that are transgender and they are smoking meth, like 5 of them. And so we're all in this tiny room and they shut the lights off and they're like, everyone needs to be quiet because the cops were like banging on the door. So I was like not breathing, and I just remember like sitting there like holding my leg that's like fucking bleeding. I think my leg's broken, and I'm in this house with these crackheads, meth heads, whatever, and the cops are banging on the door, and my heart is in my ass. Like, I'm so scared. I'm just like, oh my gosh, fuck. So finally the cops like go away, and this other tall black woman comes in, and she goes, shut the fuck up, bitch, because I was crying. She took rubbing alcohol and doused me with it, like all over my leg that was like bleeding. I was like screaming. And she's like, shut the fuck up, da 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 da. So anyways, I was just like, I have to get out of here. So I basically was like, fuck the shower at this point. Like, I'm not gonna take a shower. So I think I borrowed some of their makeup to like touch up, because I still thought I was like going out with this broken leg, manic. After all of this, I think I'm still like gonna go kick it in Hollywood. So anyways, I put my backpack on, grab my duffel bag, and I'm like hobbling down Hollywood Boulevard, walking. So I call one of my childhood best friends, and you know, I wouldn't talk to my husband, wouldn't talk to my mom. I was so, you know, I get really like ornery and angry and don't want to talk to those people when I'm manic, because I just don't. And so she basically said, she tricked me. She's like, okay, go to Roscoe's Chicken and sit down, and we will have an Uber come pick you up and take you to LAX and bring you to Seattle. And I was like crying. I was like, finally, I was like, that's all I wanted. I was like, I've been begging you guys to let me come home. The reason I'm in fucking Hollywood is because you guys wouldn't help me. So I'm hobbling along, trying to get to Roscoe's Chicken, which is like, you know, 2 or 3 miles away. I had walked away. I had met the homeless guy like right outside Roscoe's Chicken. We had walked to where I fell through the trap house, and then now I'm walking back to Roscoe's Chicken. So I'm literally like limping, and I walk past this like super nice restaurant with these two like valets, these two like 24-year-old like cutie valets. And I'm like, what's good? You know, they're like, yo, what happened to your leg? And I'm like, dude, my shit's fucked. I'm in so much pain. I'm having a bad night, you know, start shooting the shit with them. They're like, do you want some vodka in a water bottle? I'm like, yes, I do. Please, give me. So they give me like a water bottle like this, like filled with vodka to like here. So I'm just like sipping on that shit. And then they're like, do you want some blow? And I'm like, God, I just hit the jackpot with you two. So we go around like to the back alley, and I'm doing fucking lines. And I mean, I think it was cocaine, but like honestly at this point, who knows? So I'm doing like lines, gummies, the whole thing, smoking my cig, you know. And the kid, the 24-year-old goes, do you want to keep this bag of blow? And I was like, shit, I've never had anyone offer me a bag of cocaine for free, but I'm gonna go ahead and say no, because I'm going to Roscoe's Chicken to then go to LAX, and I'm not trying to get caught with cocaine at the fucking airport, you know, so not a good look. At least I was like kinda had a little bit of common sense when I was manic. So anyways, these guys were so nice. Like, and here's the thing too, I added all these people on Instagram when I was manic. Like, I'm like, what's your Instagram name? Like adding everyone, getting my followers up, feeling all cool about myself. So they were really sweet, and they're like, do you want us to give you a ride to Roscoe's Chicken? Like, it's another like mile, but like you don't have to walk, because like my leg was so fucked up. And I was like, yes, that would be so nice. So I get in the car. They like get one of the nice ass cars that they valet out of this restaurant and take me real quick. Like, these dudes were rebels. But so they drop me off, and I have my water bottle full of vodka, and I'm all coked out, and I'm just sitting there like minding my own business, waiting for this supposed Uber. And I'm just like, I mean, when I'm manic, I'm talking to everybody on the phone. My phone is constantly blowing up, talking to people. So I'm sitting on a bench outside Roscoe's Chicken. And mind you, I had made friends with all the people that work in Roscoe's Chicken earlier, before I met the homeless guy. So I go in, and I'm like, what's up, to the waitress, and like all this shit. Like, it's just insane. So all of a sudden, I see 3 cops walking towards me. And I start to freak out, and I'm like, whoa, like, what are you doing? Back up. and they all start like surrounding me. And I'm just like, what did I do? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Like, leave me alone. And they're like, Megan, Amaya, is that you? They're like, we hear you want to hurt yourself. So what my husband had done is he called LAPD and lied to them and said that I was suicidal so that they would detain me and take me to a psych ward. Because, like, you know, and I get it, like, I was so mad at him for so long, but like at this point, like, I get it, like, he did what he had to do to like keep me safe. Like, it was not safe for me to be like rolling around Hollywood like by myself, like limping around. So in hindsight, like, it wasn't a bad thing that it happened, but whatever. So anyways, the cops are like, you know, and I said, I'm like, I'm being abused. I'm like, they're lying to you. I said, I'm fine. I fucking hate my husband. I hate these people. They're lying to you. They're abusing me. They're mind fucking me. I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I need you to leave me alone. I'm not suicidal. I'm super happy, you know? And so they're like, well, what happened to your leg, you know? And so they call the fire department. So all of a sudden, like, all these firefighters show up, and I'm just like, oh my, and this is right outside Roscoe's Chicken, which is like a hella busy restaurant, and it was like a Friday night, and I was just like, oh my God. So these firefighters come up, and they're like looking at my leg and stuff, and the cops said to me, you can either go with them or you can come with us. Like, the choice is yours. Like, you're going with someone. And I was like, fuck you, I'm going with the firefighters. Get away from me. You know, I told the cops to like fuck off. So the firefighter is like, you know, trying to doctor my leg, and he's like, you know, just like trying to take like alcohol and like rub it and like, you know, move it. And my leg, it wasn't broken, but it was so messed up. Like, blood, like I still have a scar on my leg, which is like, I guess it's a memory of this time. So, I start screaming, and I'm just like, I don't want you to touch my leg. Please leave my leg alone. Leave my leg alone. And I wish at this point I would have chugged the rest of that vodka. That would have been the best thing I could have done, but I didn't. And so I told the firefighters, like, leave me alone. Like, I don't want your help, you know, forgetting that the cops had just told me I had to go with one or the other. And so the firefighter's like, okay, like, you don't have to come with us. That's fine. Like, sign this, sign this, sign this. So I'm like signing shit, and I'm like, get away from me. So all of a sudden the cops like walk up, and they're like, stand up. I'm like, why? They're like, stand up and turn around, or this is gonna get nasty. And so I stood up and turned around, and I'm just like, what did I do? And they cuffed me and put me in the back of a police car and detained me. And I'm just like asking them, like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. And they took me to jail. So I wasn't arrested. I was just detained and taken to a psych ward. And so when I got to the jail, like, it was weird. I was sitting on a bench with like all these other criminals. Like, we're all like cuffed to this bench, and it's just like all of us are like in a line, and there's a sign that says like no talking, but of course, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, we're already at jail. What are you gonna do? So I'm just like, what's up? Like, what'd you do? What'd you do? Like, asking all these people what they did. And I don't know, like, it was like so funny to me. And then they put me in a cell, and I was like, I remember I was singing Britney Spears at the top of my lungs. Like, I was so mad that, again, like, here I am detained, and now I have to go to a psych ward. So I'm gonna make all y'all's lives a living fucking hell. So I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm banging the door. You know, every time I look out the window, like, some of the cops are like laughing, and like, I would tell the cops that I thought were hot, I'm like, ooh, you sexy, you know, just fucking with them. Like, it was funny to me. So finally, a couple hours later, a cop came out, put me in the back of a cop car, and drove me to the USC hospital, where they gave me a shot. I passed out, and I'll share the rest in the next video. So if you thought this video was interesting, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Finally, I feel so much better. I got that story out. It's a lot to take in. And again, don't do anything I did. So dangerous. Like, again, I praise God that I'm healthy and I'm okay and I wasn't raped or murdered, you know, but fuck, that was the adventure of a lifetime. I really went out with a bang with my drinking. So I'll see you guys in my next video.